Thank you for raising your right hand. You do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give the court on the issue now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
And once seated, if you would please state and spell your true and correct legal name for the record.
Spell?
Yeah, you have a seat, and then you can, please state and then spell your true and correct legal name for the record.
My name is Sergeant Jeffrey Inman. It's Jeffreyinman.
Thank you. You may proceed.
All right, Sergeant. How are you employed?
I am a sergeant with the Sandy Springs Police Department.
How long have you been with the Sandy Springs Police Department?
I'm one of the original officers. I started on July 1st, 2006.
So since 2006, have you been post certified?
I have been. I started with Fulton County in 1997.
So since 1997, you've been post
I
certified?
have.
Now, I want to direct your attention to November the 19th, 2021. Were you on duty that morning?
I was.
In what capacity?
I was one of the patrolman supervisors, sergeants that were on the road.
Now, did you respond to 90 Cameron Glen Drive?
I did.
And is that in Sandy Springs?
It is. Yes, it is.
Now, why were you responding to that area?
We got a burglary in progress call that came out. So I started heading that way, and we got a second burglary in progress call that came out in the same location.
Now, around what time did you respond to that location?
And it was around 9 o'clock in the morning.
When you arrived at that location, what did you observe?
When I arrived at the location, we had Officer Bips was getting a pepper ball launcher out of his trunk of his car. The homeowner was out in the driveway, at the end of the driveway near the road. I walked into the house. We had about 8 officers that were in there. Sergeant Roush was standing at the bottom of the staircase talking to somebody at the top of the staircase. Sergeant Petruska was in the process of getting some equipment. I believe it was a ballistic shield. And since I was the third sergeant that arrived on scene and they were busy, I took control of the situation.
Now, while were you physically inside the house?
I was, yes.
And where in the house were you when Sergeant Roush was having a conversation with the person upstairs?
I initially walked around the main floor, checking to make sure that we had enough personnel that was in the house. I then walked over towards the front door to make sure that we had a perimeter set up on the house, making sure that nobody can get out of the house without our knowledge.
Now, at some point, did an individual come downstairs?
Yes, he did.
How were they dressed?
They were dressed in camouflage military-style outfit.
Now, were officers equipped with body camera?
Yes, they were.
Now, I'm going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 672. Do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes, I do.
How do you recognize it?
And this is off of Sergeant Roush's body cam.
I'm sorry, what was whose body cam?
Sergeant Roush.
Just spell this one? If you can.
Raushe, I believe it is.
Thank you.
And is this a screenshot from the body camera of the man coming down the stairs?
It is, yes.
And is it a fair depiction of that recorded on the body camera?
Yes, it is.
At this time, the state moves to enter what's marked as State's Exhibit 672 into evidence.
No objection.
State 672 is admitted.
Now, what we're seeing here in State's Exhibit 672, is this a picture of when the man is coming downstairs?
Yes, it is.
All right. So now, once he comes downstairs, then what happens?
At this point, I'm over towards the front door to the home. As the individual was coming downstairs, Sergeant Roush had made a rapport with him, so they were talking and was trying to convince him to come down the stairs. I heard a commotion behind me, and I turned around, and the individual that was coming down the stairs was basically coming off of the second or third step with his arm raised, coming down at Sergeant Roush, and basically looked like he was in the process of trying to hit Sergeant Roush.
Now, when you saw the defendant looking or attempting to hit Sergeant Roush, what happened after that?
Sergeant Roush raised his arms to block the attack. They started to struggle. They moved into the living room area, and they then went over the back of a couch. At this time, we're now converging in to help Sergeant Roush. And Sergeant Roush is also screaming at the same time. When they got down, they went over the couch, they basically were kind of intertwined, and they started to roll. When they started to roll, I saw that it was a knife, a small katana knife looking. The individual was then stabbing Roush. I sit there and I yelled out, "Somebody shoot," as I'm drawing my weapon. I had a split second where I had a window. I fired one round, and Sergeant Petrucci fired one round, pretty much simultaneously. Sergeant Petrucci hit the subject in the chest. I hit the subject in the neck, and the subject then stopped what he was doing and dropped the knife. I then yelled for somebody to handcuff him as I'm reholstering my weapon. I then moved in with Officer Matt Williams and started handcuffing, and then the individual started fighting it. And we finally got him handcuffed. We separated Sergeant Roush from him, and Officer Mike Blythe then started treating Sergeant Roush for his wounds. We then carried the individual outside of the house to the front lawn to where we could then start treating his wounds.
Now, when separated, part of treating the defendant's wounds was that was kind of tearing off his clothes, part of that rendering of
It was, yes.
Okay. Now, I want to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 674. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 674?
I do.
How do you recognize it?
It's out on the front lawn of the house where Sergeant Manny is cutting off the individual's clothes.
And is this a fair and accurate screenshot from one of the body cameras of the incident that was taking place in that front yard?
It is, yes.
At this time, the state moves to enter what's marked as State's Exhibit 674.
Any objection? I'm sorry. Okay. State 674 is admitted.
May I publish?
Yes.
All right. Now, do you remember how many layers the defendant was wearing?
He had on several layers of clothing that needed to be cut off.
Do you remember there being any broken glass at the house?
I do not recall any broken glass in the house, no.
Now, after that incident, let me backtrack. Do you recognize the same individual in this courtroom today?
Can we move the monitor? The one on the desk. That appears to be him.
In describe article clothing, too. Sorry, I apologize.
I'm sorry, the gentleman in the yellowish green shirt.
Now, before he was shot, the individual seen in State's Exhibit 674, were you able to see his face?
I was able to see his face when he was out on the lawn, yes.
Why couldn't you see his face when he was inside the house?
When it started out, my back was turned to him. When he came off the stairs and started attacking Sergeant Roush, he also had a hat on, which I believe maybe had a face covering on it. The situation was when he attacked Rouse, they were together and down, so I did not see his face until he was actually taken outside.
In State Exhibit 674, is this his face covering here?
Yes.
So in addition to the face covering and the military, was he wearing anything on his hands?
He was wearing gloves on his hands.
Okay. And then on top of the mask, was he wearing something on his head?
And it was a what in the military we call a beanie hat. So a full brim hat around that they use for best describing was for reconnaissance units that would wear that.
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. Attorney Barry, you may proceed.
Good afternoon, Sergeant.
I guess it.
Good thanks. Did you ever take a statement from Matthew while you were on the scene there?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay, did he say anything to you that is significant?
He uttered some statements while I was in the process of handcuffing, yes.
And what were those statements?
He called us several names. One of the names was, he called us the N-word. He called us pussies. Those are the two main ones that I do recall. I do recall him screaming and yelling at the same time.
Okay. Did he indicate to you why he had gone to that house?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Did you see what automobile he arrived in?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay. Nobody pointed out to you the vehicle where it might be sitting?
Not at that time, because what happened is when I got to the scene, I was in control of the scene. So I was not there to interview the subject. I was there to get the subject out of the house.
Monitor what was going on there?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any other involvement with Matthew after that?
I did not know.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Aiden Horowitz, any additional questions for Sergeant Inman?
No, Judge.
All right, may this witness be excused?
Yes, Judge.
All right, you excuse Sergeant Inman.
Thank you.